Right then, welcome to my April video blog, which is massively different to normal because today you find me in my own garden. And I know I've got the bivvy up, which is a bit sad probably, but it's giving it a bit of a carpy feel, which is what I wanted to do with this video, because the sun's out now and we should all be on the banks. And I actually should be out in Belgium fishing on a river for a couple of weeks, which I was really looking forward to, because this is the time of the year when the fish congregate in a certain area and you can catch them. But yeah, fishing plans have all changed, so what I've got for you is really a bit of a mixed bag today, because I'm going to be talking about my own fishing prior to lockdown, which takes me to Acton Top Lake in Shropshire. You might remember that venue from a video blog that I did a few months back, which was under the title of the best looking carp lake in England. Well, that venue I've been fishing over the winter months, and I fished it in January, February and March. Didn't really catch a great deal, but just before lockdown I managed to get onto one or two of the fish, which we'll take a look at. And I also want to cover another topic today, which is a little bit different to normal, because it's something that I think is worth talking about, and that is the matter of using bed chairs on a long-term basis. Here comes my dog. Come here, Bern, come into my video. Yes. So this is me carp dog, Bernie. Hello boy, what are you doing? How are you? And my missus is on her way up as well, but this is the joys of filming in your garden rather than on the bank. But yeah, I want to talk about the long-term use of bed chairs in a bit as well, because over the years I've been using certain bed chairs and I've had lots of problems with my back, and I think it's worth talking about, because certainly if you get to my age, which is I'm nearly 50 years old now, and you've been using certain bed chairs for a long time, then you can get some issues with them. So I'll come to that in a bit, but first of all I want to take us back to Acton Top Lake to the middle of March, when I was fishing in a swim that's known as the pot bed, and I managed to catch one or two fish. Now there's not a great deal of footage from this, because I was hoping to use it towards the back end of the year and do a bit of a diary piece on the venue, but because of what's happened, obviously I've had to rush things forwards and try and knock out a video blog today. So let's take us to the pot bed on the Acton Top Lake and see how I got on for a few days. Well, it definitely looks good for a bite now. It's 6:45 in the evening, and when I fished on here last year, any time from about now till last light or first thing in the morning were always good times for a bite. So I'm really confident, and the wind has changed today as well. It's swinging in a westerly direction, so it's a lot warmer than the one yesterday. There was a wind yesterday pushing towards the bays, and if I'm honest, I did expect there to be some fish down in those bays when I arrived, because it was really warm and it just looked right for down there. But I sat and watched, and I must have been over there for well over an hour and never even saw a sign of a carp. So I'm still of the opinion that these fish haven't properly woken up yet. Although one or two of them have been getting caught, they've definitely not switched into proper feeding mode at the moment, and it's any time about now when they generally do. So you know, it's looking good, and my rods have been out for well over 24 hours now, and a lot of people they like to recast first light, they like to recast at last light, but for me I try and stop doing that, because I think they're the times when on a lot of carp waters they're always going to be good times. You know, carp are always switched on by daylight hours, so first thing in the morning and last thing at night are the times when I wouldn't be redoing my rods. And I've got no problem at all in leaving my rods out for well over 24 hours either. You know, if you go to a lot of day ticket waters, people tend to do a lot of fly fishing when it comes to carp. They're sort of not confident about leaving their rods out for any length of time. You know, I've seen some people give the rods only a matter of hours, you know, a couple of hours in one spot, and then they're redoing it, putting some new bait out. And for me, certainly on venues like this, where the carp have seen everything over the years, they're quite old, it's not an easy venue, then sometimes it can be of massive benefit to just leave your rods in place. When I fish places like Rainbow Lake in France, it's a known tactic that leaving your rods out for not only a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, even 6 or 7 days, it's always going to give you a good chance of a bite. Indeed, I think Martin Locke, when he caught his world record mirror many years ago now, that rod had been out for nearly 7 days. So it takes some serious confidence to leave your rods in place for that length of time. And I think here, at the moment, when the fish haven't fully woken up, I could go over there every few hours and put some fresh bait out, and all that's going to do is just, in my mind, just probably make things a little bit worse for me. So I'm happy that these rods have not yet been fed on by the small fish in here. The rigs are sitting nicely, the baits are okay, and sooner or later these fish are going to switch on. I'm just hoping that it's whilst I'm down here, but it's looking good at the moment. I'm happy, and there's certainly a chance in the next couple of hours before the sun goes down, and definitely first thing in the morning. So hopefully the next bit of film that you're seeing might be me playing a decent fish from here, if everything goes according to plan. I've had a bit of a sort around in the bivvy today and positioned my bed chair a lot different to how I normally have it. Normally I have it running across the back, but today I've got it running that way, and I just thought it'd give me a bit of a better chance to look out the bivvy and see the lake in the morning, because I'm not having my door down at the moment because the mosquitoes are not that bad, and it also gives me that amazing view of the lake, which is always lovely to wake up to. But I actually like it because it's giving me a bit of space that I didn't have before. And okay, the chair's not pointing, the chair that I'm sat on at the moment is not pointing out the door, but I can still see the rods, I can still see everything, and it's given me a little bit more room in the bivvy. Always nice to have a bit of a change around. Probably go back to normal again in a few days' time, but for the time being with this swim anyway, it's quite comfortable. As I say, it's giving me a bit more space down here as well, so that always comes in handy. Yeah, what a view. What a view. The internet service out here is absolutely ridiculous. You know, this is Shropshire, England, and EE, which is supposedly the best network in the country. Yeah, right. A couple of years ago I drove through a mountain in Switzerland. Right through a mountain, it was about a mile long this mountain was, and I had a full signal all the way along. But here, Shropshire, England, look at that, just round and round and round. Oh, something's happening. At last, something's happening. Oh God, drives you insane. The battery meter there was on full this morning, but the internet is just draining it. Does your head in. EE is definitely not the network to get onto if you're a carp angler in the UK. Crowy moan over. Another classic example of a beautiful upper lake 30-pounder. Fantastic. I know there's quite a few of you out there that like to know about the rigs that I'm using in my videos, so I'm just going to quickly talk you through the one that I'm using today. For the hook bait, I've got a size 18mm SLK bottom bait, and that comes straight out of the bag. I'm not using a wafter or a pop-up because I'm not fishing over soft bottom. I'm fishing over a nice gravelly hard area. For the hook, normally I'll be using a size 6 in the UK, but for today I've gone in with a size 4 because I'm fishing for really big carp, and I'm hoping that when I hook one of them I've got a much better chance of getting it in. I've got a liner there that's formed by some shrink tubing, and that's just over the top of a knotless knot. Now the hook link I'm using, that's a size 35-pound captive coated hook link. Again, like the hooks, I'm fishing for really big carp, and I want to make sure that when I hook one of these fish, I've got a better chance of getting it in. And as you can see there, I've got roughly about 8 inches of hook link. I've taken all of the coating off this hook link, so you're left with this nice soft supple braided material underneath it. And then just there on the end, you can see I've got a lead clip with a size 4 lead, and then to finish things off, that's straight through to 15-pound mono. So we've just taken a look at the rig that I use, and I thought I'd now just quickly talk you through the tackle organiser, tackle box that I use. This is the one that's in the Avid range. I don't use a conventional tackle box. This does everything that I need. It's just got a zip straight down the middle, and I've got all sorts of pouches and bits and pieces in here which I'll talk you through. I suppose the one question you're going to ask is everything in here just Avids? Well, it's not. You know, I'll challenge any sponsored angler to turn around and say that they only use the company that sponsors them as products, because I've got various different bits and pieces in here. But as you can see, the majority of it is Avids. I've got loads of the captive hook link. I've got some of the sandy clay coloured one. I've got some of the brown one, the green one. I've got them in various different sizes: 35 pound, 25 pound, 15 pound. I've got some of the Criston heavy metal in there. I've got various different tied up rigs that I've done. I've got some hooks in there which I can't show you at the moment because they're the new patterns that are coming out very soon from Avids. I've got some of these fantastic scissors. Now I'm going to plug these because these really are great. They're the best scissors I've ever used. Mega sharp as well. I've got some leg clips and rubbers. I've got a little pouch in here in the middle that's got loads of my needles in there. I've got a hook sharpening tool. I've got some various different needles in there from different companies. I've got some Nash ones in there as well as the Avid ones. I've also got in this side some of the Zig floats from Nash. I've got some Fox tubing in there, 0.5 or Nash's, I don't know. I've got Avid hair stops in there. I've got various other companies as well. So yeah, I do use various different company stuff, not just Avids. In this side I've got some of the tail rubbers, some of the lead clips. I've got one of the PVA systems from Avid. So as you can see, it's nice and tidy. It's got everything in there that I need. It's not a standard conventional tackle box. I don't carry any of my leads in here. I've got another pouch that I carry those in, but it does the job for me. And as you can see, it isn't just made up of Avid gear. So I'm not here just to plug their products, but it does the job perfectly for me. Well, we're back in the garden then, and apologies for the lawnmower that's just started going, because typically my neighbours started cutting the grass as I'm about to do this filming. But I'm sure you'll agree that was a lovely fish to catch from Acton, and we'll be back there again in a short while when I actually managed to catch a fish bigger than that one just before lockdown. But for now, what I want to do is talk about the long-term use of bed chairs, because about 5 or 6 years ago I started getting an awful lot of back pain. I was at the Carp shows, standing up all day. The lower section of my back and the tops of my thighs were really hurting me, and they hurt me that much that it was affecting my normal day-to-day life. So I went straight to a physio, and the first thing he did to me was, let's take a look at your posture. And when I took the top off, he noticed that my left shoulder was slightly higher than my right-hand shoulder. So he turned around to me and said, what are you sleeping on when you're on the bank fishing all this time? And I explained to him I was using one of the old traditional type of bed chairs, which is slightly raised at the head end compared to the middle section and the lower section. Now, I'm somebody that sleeps on my side as well, so if you're doing a number of nights on the bank, sleeping on your side on a bed chair that isn't flat, there's the problem with why my shoulders are skew whiffed and why I was getting the pain in the lower section of my back, because my discs had started to separate, etc. So the purpose of this video is to say that if you're in your 20s now and you're thinking about doing a lot of fishing over the years, then get yourself one of these flat bed chairs that are now on the market. I know a lot of companies do still sell those bed chairs that are slightly raised at the head end, and there's nothing wrong with them if you do sleep on your back. I know a lot of guys that do that and they don't get any problems, but if you are going to sleep on your side on those bed chairs, then you're probably going to expect the same problems that I've had. So, you know, with the likes of Fox, Nash, Avid, JRC, Tracker, etc., now selling these flat type bed chairs, they're the ones that you really want to be focusing on. I currently use the Avid Benchmark X. It's not about plugging this particular bed chair to you, because there's lots of different companies out there. This little video that I've put together now is more to do with raising the awareness that if you don't look after your posture, if you don't lie properly on these bed chairs on a long-term basis, then you're going to get yourselves a few problems. This month's product plug is the Avid Carp Extremity Spod Braid. This has been designed specifically for casting spods and spawns at extreme distances. It's a low diameter 0.25mm braid which has high knot strength, a super smooth finish and a brilliant yellow colour.
I've been using it for over a year now, and it's extremely hard wearing, and the one thing I love about it is you rarely get any wind knots with it, unlike other braids I've used on the market. It comes in 300 metre spools, which is designed to fill the Avid Carp spot and marker reel to its ideal capacity. It's rated at 25 pound breaking strain, so you don't need a leader with it, even for extreme range work. Each spool will set you back around $24.99, and you can also find the similar priced Avid marker braid, which also comes in 300 metre spools, but in a lovely camouflage colour. For more information on either product, take a look at avidcarp.com.
So we'll go back to Acton then, where you joined me in the potbed swim for the last night of fishing just before the lockdown started, where I was lucky enough to catch myself a gorgeous 39.5 pound mirror, and it's the perfect way to end this month's video blog. I don't know why, but I've woken up early today, so I'm just sitting here with a brew in my hand, listening to the dawn chorus and hoping that one of these rods is going to burst into life at any minute. I mean, I've had three originals in this session, so I'm definitely on them, and I've got to be off at 10:30 this morning. But when you're sitting here and you're knowing that there's big fish around in your swim, and it's getting to that sort of bite time, it's just a great feeling, it really is. I'm buzzing sitting here. And better than that, listening to that dawn chorus when it gets going on the benny like this is just crazy. It's just starting to get light now. You can hear the odd bird going for it. But the next half hour or so, it's going to be mega loud. What a morning. It's just electric. I feel as though one of these rods is going to go at any minute, and having already caught 3 originals during the last couple of days, you just don't know what's going to be on the end of the next one. Awesome. It's almost deafening, the sound of the dawn chorus here. Beautiful place. And when there's big carp about as well, it don't get much better than that. It's absolutely freezing here, and I was thinking about going home, but I'm glad I didn't, because I've just landed this absolute mega winter carp. Check that out. Must be about 2 degrees at the moment, but it's definitely worthwhile being here when you're holding something like that. What a creature. It's weighed in at 39 pounds.
that's definitely made it worthwhile staying. Yeah, see all the leeches on it, loads of them on it. There you go. Loads of leeches on this one, but what a lovely fish. What a beast.